Gather around this table, boys. Bring no shame, I'll lose my voice. Screaming at the gods about the bad we've done. Merle said, Mama tried, but the prison still won. Your transgressions are mine as well. Anger grows in my bones if you could not tell. But I'll find comfort in company. Lord, forgive us, my boys and me. We're having an all-night revival. Some call the women and someone steal the Bible. Oh, save my survival. Baptize me in a bottle of bean for Johnny on the vinyl. Well, the devil can't scrap, but the Lord has won. And I'll talk to him under rising suns. His sun rose and mine did too. I was coming down, but now I'm talking to you. 'Cause we're having an all-night revival. Some call the women and some will steal the Bible. For to save my survival. Baptize me in a bottle of bean for Johnny on the vinyl.
Jimmy.
Hey, baby.
I've become a Zach Bryan fan. I don't know if you listen to him. You listen to country at all or no?
Yeah, current country. Yeah, he's good.
Zach Bryan's good. Luke Childers is good. You know, there's some good talent coming up through the ranks in the countryside that aren't just singing about, you know, pickup trucks and Bud Light and you know, things that actually matter.
I want to give you a quick look at my hair because you seem to think that Mike Sawyer has hair that rivals mine. So
your hair looks great today, but
it's beautiful today, doesn't it?
There's one person. So there's one person who has better hair. Okay.
Really?
Yes, and we talked about him last time. Let me do a setup for this, but we have a guest today.
Very
and
nice.
So the setup is our conversation that you and I had previously last week. Some people heard it, some people did not. So to actually bring it back to that conversation real quick, this is a dark moment I'm bringing back to. So please, you know, I know this will be emotional for you. Here's Jimmy on last week's show.
Open those cans of worms, though, because they really creep me out and they stay with me.
Which cans of worms?
You know, when I get into detail, into too much details of death and things like that, you know, what did James Dean say before he got the call, you know, to the gas station attendant? It's creepy as shit, man.
No, I don't even know what you're talking about, but those details are everything. What do you mean, James Dean? So tell the story. I don't even know that story.
No, there's not a story. It's a point. You want details. Sometimes I'm sorry that I got the details that I asked for.
Well, go ahead and give me the James Dean details that you want.
It's that was an example that I it's no point there.
There's a point there. What's the gas station? What is a gas? What happened with James?
Okay.
What happened when James Dean?
It has nothing to do with fucking James Dean. It was an example.
How did James Dean die, and what did a gas station attendant have to do with it? I don't know the story at all.
I'm not fucking doing this. All right.
You don't know anything. You found out something about James Dean's death?
No.
Did he die at a gas station?
Curiosity for me. Sometimes I get too curious, and I'm sorry that I see a picture of
What
something.
happened to James Dean, and what do you know about it?
Fuck you.
Did your father have something to do with James Dean's death? What did your father do, and when did he do it? So it continues, but Jimmy, you were clearly upset about the James Dean passing away thing. So
you wouldn't fucking listen to me.
Well, you were so upset about the James Dean passing that I decided to find out what did happen on that horrible day where James Dean passed away.
Really?
And I really went hardcore on this. You know, I took this very, very seriously. So I actually have a special guest on today to fill in the gaps on exactly what happened on this fateful day, why it happened, how it happened. Please, everybody, you know, I don't know that that the audience is prepared for this. This story it's Hollywood lore. It's legendary. So here is the great, the absolute legend of all legends in the land of Hollywood, probably up there with Elvis, but not as a musician, but as a Hollywood person, bigger than Elvis.
As an icon.
As an icon. And were you named after him, James Dean?
I was not. I was named after my grandfather.
All right, so James.
That's what made me.
Hold on a second. So James Dean is joining us. You were named at James. You're here. You were named after you're a legendary actor who worked in Rebel Without a Cause with Natalie Wood. Is that correct?
That's what made me a star. Turns out Natalie is the only wood that couldn't float.
Oh, coming out firing. How did you get that job, that role?
Little known story. I had my audition. I did okay. Afterwards, I was so nervous. My stomach was messed up. I went to take a poo and Nicholas Ray come in.
The director.
He had a director's uniform on. We had a few good laughs between the stalls, and I landed the part that made me a star.
No shit.
Plenty, actually. Made me real superstitious about uniforms and bathrooms, too.
Jimmy's a huge fan. Always wondered what happened the day of your death. Do you want
Jimmy, nice name.
Yep.
That's a story. I picked up Little Bastard.
Your Porsche.
That's correct.
Yeah.
On the way to race, get a donut, took her for a spin. She was running good. Went to fill her up, and that's when it all happened.
Okay, this is what Jimmy's talking about. What did happen?
A guy come out to help wearing a gas station uniform. I had to poop after my donut and cigarette, something fierce. He recognized me, so I asked him if he wanted to come sit with me and help.
Help with a car?
No, help me with poop because of the superstition. He knew who I was. I'm not gay or nothing. I'm always alone. But a man in uniform while I'm pooping is my good luck charm. I can't poop without it. This guy called me queer and told me to go to hell.
No shit.
None. I rushed out of there.
So then you crashed.
No. I drove north, got me an apple, some apple pie to get to a bathroom. A waiter got me a pie. He recognized me. I explained to him I'm superstitious and asked if he would please step into the bathroom with me. He called me a Hollywood queer. He did compliment my hair, then told me to go to hell.
No shit.
Not a nugget. Sped off in a Little Bastard. Got pulled over a little while later.
You got a ticket?
Yes, but it was my fault. Officer came up, was going to let me go. I asked him if he would please keep me company while I poop in the field because he was in uniform.
Ah, that makes sense. He didn't go for it.
He sure didn't. Wrote me a ticket, called me a Hollywood queer, and told me to go to hell. So I'm back on the road.
No shit.
Plenty, but on the inside. About 2 hours later, I'm in bad shape. I get me a Coke and an apple. The clerk at the store has a clerk hat on. At this point, any uniform would be fine with me.
Oh, no, not again.
Yep, again. But now I'm far out of Hollywood, so people aren't sure of who I am. I light a cigarette and ask if he'll please poop with me. He calls me a queer, tells me to go to hell, and chases me out with a broom.
No fucking shit.
overbearing amounts. I remember physical and emotional pain because I'm not queer. And for the fourth time in the day, a man in uniform has called me queer. Anyway, about 30 minutes later, I see this military man on the side of the road pointing ahead of me because he recognized me. All I'm thinking of is pulling over and exploding in a field. I didn't want to blow the chance, so I got my wallet, took my eyes off the road, and I missed that car pulling out. But the car didn't miss me. All I saw were Virginia plates, heard the hit, and flew like a bird. The last thing I heard was, "Oscar, are you okay?" And I was immediately here.
No shit.
Tons. I landed right next to the military man in uniform, which relaxed me. And I crapped like a blue whale during krill season.
Wow, that's quite a story. What is the lesson?
The lesson's pretty clear. Crap before a road trip or you're going to be a rebel with a cause. And that's a shitty day.
Well, thank you, James Dean, for filling in the backstory. I mean, but what is this about Oscar being there too, and a Virginia plates? I mean, that part.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I even want to be a part of this. I feel real weird.
I figured that would make you feel weird. If you felt too weird to talk about it, you know, getting these types of details could be very traumatic.
Yes.
You know, and
yes.
especially with Oscar being there, doesn't mean it's your dog.
No, I mean, it could have been a guy named Oscar.
Could have been, but 1955, it sounds like your dog might have been around longer than you think.
You know, I know that you did that for my well-being and because you care about me and love me.
I thought it was.
So,
yeah.
So
nobody else is going to give a shit about James Dean from 1955.
It's fucking genius.
What?
That was beautiful. I love it.
I'm glad you did, man, because I really did do it for you. Nobody else is going to give a shit. And I actually had all of the things that happened along the way, except for the Virginia plates.
Yeah.
And except for obviously the Oscar part, because the guy in California was driving. The rest of it is historically accurate.
The actual shitting?
No, everything from the ticket. He got a ticket. Like all the things he ordered along the way. Everything in there was historically accurate. He ordered a Coke and an apple, you know, went into a restaurant. Obviously the shitting part, you know, that's his those are his words, not mine.
Yeah, no, that was good. Thank you.
I'm glad. Hopefully that clears things up and makes you feel a little bit better about what happened. So real quick too, we got a I didn't pull this down from my stuff. So we have another hero of the week. So every week we grab a hero of the week. I need to pull my picture up. I had it ready, but I didn't add it to my repertoire of stuff. This week's hero is very easy. It was the easiest choice you could ever have in the entire world. This gentleman, this white gentleman back here, you can't even see him, but he's back there. And his name is Elijah Dicken. He's the one who stopped the shooting the other day in the Indianapolis Mall. Within 15 seconds of a mass shooter going into the mall to go take out as many people as possible, Elijah was 40 yards away with a pistol, and he pulled the firearm, shot 10 shots, and from 40 yards, which is a very long shot for a pistol, hit the shooter 8 times while telling everybody to get behind him, and escorting the good people to the back of him. Continue to move forward. Emptied his magazine into the perp. We have one dead perp, a lot less dead people, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you stop. Doesn't take a whole police force of Uvalde people sanitizing their hands. Did you see that video where the cops are sanitizing?
It's disgusting. It's heartbreaking.
A whole bunch of Beto O'Rourke feminists, feminist men. We're feminist men, but we wouldn't do that. We're the good feminists, not the bad ones.
Elijah Dicker.
Dicken, I think. Dicken.
Oh,
yeah,
Dicken.
With a name like that, hopefully he'll be dicking down a lot. He's earned all the dicking down he gets, and he saved a lot of lives. He's a true hero. Very easy choice for hero of the week.
He threw a dick in that shooter's plans.
He did. He threw his balls on the table and let his dickin' go wild, start blasting everywhere. And I guarantee, yeah, if you see him too, let me see if I can crop a picture in properly, because this is one of the whitest looking people you will ever see in your entire life. Everybody from Indiana has this same look. You know, they all have this overwhelming whiteness with
pasty. They look like mayonnaise.
Yeah, they do, with their Frankenstein kind of heads, you know, a beautiful Frankenstein with dark brown, parted on the side hair. Blockheads, and they're all cut from a certain cloth. And let me see if I can just pull this up and just do it the old-fashioned way, where I don't have to.
And that's the shirt they all wear.
You see him?
I don't see his head. I know what he looks like. I've seen him.
Oh. Yeah, you've seen him. Yeah, you've seen him. But yeah, man, amazing. What a hero, and that's fantastic. On one more quick show note, quick prayers out to Bruce. Bruce, who came on, the wrestler, came on. His mom passed away, so his mother was obviously a great woman to raise a real man like that, and his girlfriend, who he's been with for a long time, Jessica Sims, had a series of strokes.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, back to back. 2 different hospitals, obviously. 2 different situations. Girlfriend's family. You know, Bruce isn't for everybody. You know, if you want your sister to be with a guy, you know, there's fathers like me that would be like, yes, that's perfect for my daughter. And then there's fathers like other people that would say, ooh, I don't know. He comes from the other side. But Bruce, hasn't been able to spend as much time with her, but he's torn up by it. She's apparently, able to be spicy, but without talking. Loved our Helen Keller segment. Thought that was brilliant, because I think, he saw his future could be, being with a perfect woman like Helen Keller was.
Yeah.
A spicy, brilliant, smart, and not quite so verbose. So huge prayers to Bruce.
Go ahead, please.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Jimmy. You say
no, just it's crazy, because it's that time in our lives. I just feel for the guy.
Yeah, parents are getting ready to drop like flies. So it's better to enjoy it. His mother's funeral is in Sarasota on Tuesday. I'm going to try to make it down there. My daughter has a therapy in the afternoon, but if I can, I'll be there. Yeah. So did you see the video I sent you of his fight?
No.
You didn't?
I don't think you did. I don't think you sent me a video.
Oh, I did. You're going to love this shit. And it's actually perfect for this show, because I'm not quite so sure I've seen anything like it. But remember, I told you the story about how he was chopping a random, fighter, the King of Bros.
Yeah.
He did it for pain and fun for like an hour.
Right.
This is a short, it's 3-minute video. It's a 3-minute cut, but it gives you a little bit of an insight into what it is that I witnessed that day. So let me pull this up for the audience as a special treat for a great man who's going through some tough times, but somebody who's this tough can get through anything together. It's just different when you're talking about emotions versus physical, different type of toughness. You know what I mean? And he's going to have to find the latter, the emotional toughness to get through this.
Right.
Which every single person in the world, that's the tougher thing to get through. So let me pull this bad boy up and let's watch Bruce in his element. Okay. All right. Just so what you're seeing a guy in red glasses. Yep. For people that aren't watching, announcing. Seeing a very large man with a bald head. That guy's a cop out of Indianapolis, by the way. So he's an Indianapolis cop named Justin Kyle. Okay. And then he's wearing shorts and fighting stuff with no shirt. And on the other side is our man Bruce, shirtless with jeans on.
Oh, fuck. Look at that.
with jeans on, by the way. So you've always wanted to know what Bruce looks like. That's what Bruce looks like.
My man.
What a great last name. I mean,
You know what's crazy is that's what I thought he looked like.
No chairs, no glass.
That's just what he seems, that's what he sounds like. That kind of guy.
yep. All right, you ready, Jimmy? Here we go. So this is a real fight, but a fake fight at the same time. So it's a real fight. You'll see.
Now those educated feet going to work.
I still love he's in jeans. Couple flip, moving around. The cop's coming in.
We had to reinforce this.
All right.
Chains on the brackets just for these two. Boy.
So you've seen slap offs. These are two
Yeah.
very large men slapping the shit out of each other for real. You can hear it, and it's landing with full board. They're turning their heads at the end, but that's not taking shit off of it.
Oh my God. Nothing but flesh.
And then this guy gets mad, starts throwing real punches. Bruce in the corner. Bruce pick. Nice shot. Rings him a little bit. Ooh, gets hit pretty good. Rocks him. Superman punch. Hits him real good behind the ear. Bruce is covering up in the corner. The guy says, all right, get up. So now they go. Have you ever seen any shit like this, Jimmy?
Jesus Christ, this looks like me fighting with my brothers. Like get on my back and do the windmill. Nothing's
so
better.
here's the continuation. It ends pretty quick here. So they start throwing elbows at each other. Now these are wrestling elbows, but they're landing not full bore, but they're landing them pretty fucking hard.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. See, that last one landed.
Goddamn men fucking beating the shit out of each other. Pushing him up against that cage, shots to the body. I think he caught him a little bit, a headbutt before those blows.
Little headbutt, little blood. There you go.
Justin
And
Kyle, just like the fucking Energizer Bunny, just never runs out of steam.
little front kick by Justin Kyle. Kyle's got nice hands on him for a man that size. I mean, you could tell as a cop he's probably been in these situations. You would hate to be fucking arrested. Oh, beautiful right.
Oh, caught him.
Gets him good. He's a little knocked out, a little weary. He's bleeding. You can see him bleeding. And that's the end of the fight. So this is the shit.
So wait, you said fake, real. What the fuck was that? Because there's no way that was fake at all.
So it's a real fight, but during it, these are professional wrestlers. So they'll stop and sort of do some. I'll call it. It's not fake. They're literally slapping the shit out of each other. They're really elbowing each other.
Choreographed a little bit, just a little bit of
almost like they just understand that part of their role is to be entertainers and wrestlers in the middle. So rather than taking a break to their corners, they sort of just slap the shit out of each other in the middle of the ring.
Right.
I've never seen anything like it. I gotta be
performer.
But considering I've seen him do that in private while no one is watching, I understood that, he's just cut from a different cloth.
Yeah.
Like, I consider myself a pretty tough person. That's levels above what I'm.
Yeah.
I don't crave going and doing that type of shit.
You wouldn't see me doing that either.
No.
Nope.
I pride myself on taking pain, but I'm not going to go have some 250-pound dude slap the shit out of me over and over again and exchange blows and be like, you know what? It's worth it just to give it back.
We used to do it. We used to do it with our hands. Like we would slap the wrist. Just take turns slapping the wrist as hard as we can, and whoever gave up, I couldn't imagine doing my face.
For me, it was we'd always hold our hands over candles and lighters and see who bitched out the most. And I still have a pretty nasty scar. You probably can't see it from here.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Some pretty nasty scars from winning. I had to win. And I'd be bubbled up for weeks.
Bubbled up. I was just telling Sonny about that, about putting the hand, making the flame go out. And I never did that. But
Well,
My
putting it
uncle's-
out's easy. Putting it out is nothing. Holding it above is for a period of time is the thing. And for some strange reason, we'd always do it to the doors. Yeah, there's something about
Really?
Jim Morrison
Oh, yeah.
music that just makes you want to abuse yourself or do crazy shit.
It's that, yeah,
Um,
it's that Jefferson Starships feel, you know. I mean,
Your audio, get a little closer to the
okay,
thing.
sorry.
But so let's talk about Ryan Garcia. We saw you saw the fight, right?
Yeah,
I mean, what'd you think, man?
that's Ryan Garcia. You know, I think I think that he's ready for the next level. I think he just dominated it. The kid didn't belong in there with him.
Well, that was a pretty damn good fighter in there, and watching I think the hardest part of being a boxing fan, and this is probably hard for some people. Listen,
he was a very good fighter. I'm talking about a step into the elite, like,
it's time.
Somebody like Davey Boy Green was a terrific fighter, but when Leonard just annihilated him like he did, we knew Leonard was elite, not just a good fighter.
So I think Tank Davis is probably next in line for Garcia if Davis wants that fight. And I don't think Davis is going to want that fight because they've sparred together. And I watched the entire sparring session, and Garcia makes Davis look like a bitch in that sparring session.
Really?
Yeah. He's a much better fighter. So, but keep in mind though, Davis is not a great boxer. Davis is a guy who sets you up for those big shots and puts you to sleep.
Yeah.
And if you look at the last fight, that's exactly what happened. He lost every round. What the fuck was his name again?
And Fortuna.
Not Fortuna. No, for the fought Davis. What?
Not David. Okay.
Romero.
I forget the guy's name. I was talking about the guy fought Garcia.
Damn it! I'm so bad with names? Anybody who in this podcast
Romero.
barely remember people. Romero. Yeah. So barely remember people I drank with for 10 years, 20 years ago. So cut me some slack. But yeah, Romero won every round. I do remember that. And Davis, he made one mistake. Davis slipped to that side and just hit him with that uppercut. Anybody who fights him better take your rounds and take your victories. If Romero had to do it over again, and kudos to Romero for keeping the gas to the pedal, but there's moments in history like when Tommy Hearns did the same thing versus Sugar Ray Leonard, or in a fight like this, where you've now won all the rounds, you want to fight a different fight at that point. I understand you want to knock him out. I understand
you're fighting to win ultimately at all costs. If a shot to your pride, if you've got to step back and have the discipline to box a little different, that goes into the bucket of, are you a full package fighter?
Do you have your computer on the side where the microphone is?
Probably, because I'm a fucking idiot. No. So bad?
It's not right. It's not bad, but it's just you sound like you're far away. It sounds like but the other day you jumped off and came back on. It was perfect. Try that one more time. Well, I'll play some
Is this better?
Nope.
Oh, fuck. You want me to call in again?
Yeah, try calling in. Wait, try now.
How about now? Good?
Much better. Perfect.
So it's fucking you again.
No, it wasn't me.
Oh, all right. Well.
No, that's perfect. I didn't do anything.
We're back.
Yes, we are back. Yeah, it's much better to hear you. So yeah, I think Ryan Garcia Davis becomes extinct at that point. It's only a matter of time because Davis can't keep surviving off these one-round KOs. I mean, one-shot KOs. You can't.
Yeah.
At some point, he is a fun fighter to watch, especially at the lower levels. But at the upper levels, when you have, every opponent is longer with longer arms, you're going to get exposed at some point. And I think Romero started to do that. And Garcia in their training session, it was pretty ugly. I mean, Davis landed a few shots, but Ryan Garcia is a much better talent than Tank Davis is.
I think he's a better talent and a better athlete. I think his athleticism will help him against Davis.
Now, I have a conspiracy theory. I want to run it by you. Is Ryan Garcia Oscar De La Hoya's bastard love child?
Absolutely. Everybody knows that.
They look very similar.
They look, they fight. Oh,
I mean,
it's like watching him. It's like watching a young De La Hoya.
Not for me, really. I mean, they are pretty like that, but I watched a lot of Oscar's younger stuff. Oscar tucks. I mean, Garcia does leave that chin out there.
Yeah.
I mean, he does. You got to, I mean, he throws it out there because he's whipping around that stuff, but he pops it up, because he wants to look pretty. He came in, I believe, wearing a Chanel. No, Dior, which is great. He came in wearing a Dior robe. My wife couldn't fucking believe it. She goes, "Is he wearing a Dior robe?" I go, "He is." This is where people misjudge him. Is he's so pretty?
Yeah.
He's so interesting. He's so fabulous, but he's such a bad motherfucker. I mean, don't let that pretty stylish shit fool you. And to his credit, he didn't go with Chanel. Do you know?
Those are the guys that make the money, is because they look like just little baby face assassins.
Little baby faces.
Ray Leonard, De La Hoya,
and now Ryan Garcia. The people that keep talking about Ryan ducking this or Ryan mental that, they're missing out on a hell of a talented fighter, because what he did in that ring last weekend was not low level. It was high level, championship level, impressive shit. If he keeps
I think they want to fight. I think they both want to fight.
Yeah.
We'll see if the managers fuck it up.
Well, there's that story that Garcia's ducked. Was it Haney? No, it wasn't Haney. Who was it that they said Garcia ducked?
Oh, it's Shakur.
Oh, Shakur. Well, yeah, I could see that happening. But either way, he said, "I'm going to record the actual negotiation so that you fuckers out there can't say that I ducked Tank."
That's smart.
Which is smart, because maybe he did, maybe he didn't duck to Shakur. Although, if you're a fighter up and coming, you want to wait till you're ready to fight Shakur. You want to wait till, maybe he's banging some girl with syphilis or something. He's not at 100%, because that guy's a beautiful fucking boxer. You don't just go stepping in with Shakur for a payday if you've got great plans for your career, because he's going to embarrass you. Even if you're really good, he's going to embarrass you.
Right. And it just may not be time.
Hey, we'll see, man. But the end of this year, while football's on and while everybody's eyes are on a different sport, really look like a great time for boxing. So good job, boxing promoters out there. Nice fucking work. We need to get the weasel back on here, the raccoon.
Oh yeah, Rick, fuck.
Rick Glazer. We start yelling about.
I'm telling you, I'm like that guy in that show you told me to watch, man. I'm starting to fucking forget shit.
Did you get through episode 2?
Yeah.
It's pretty.
He's punchy, and the guy's punchy, so I'm waiting to see where that goes.
Well, it's compelling though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hooking me a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty compelling. I enjoy it. I figure you'd like, anytime you have somebody who's, got a reason to be angry, who's good at being violent, who's professional at it. That's the Rambo. When I talked about First Blood, that's where I kind of made that connection. So.
What do you think about the dog buff? I call him dog bag fight.
I don't know anything about it. Who's fighting?
I'm hearing he's fighting Joette Gonzalez.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. And, again, just for people that are listening to this, I do not profess to be a boxing expert. I'm somebody who's watched the sport for a long time. I got better shit to do than.
And neither do I profess to be an expert.
But you really are. At least the intricacies of boxing, but you may not know all the people, right?
But I love this fight. If you can pull it up, I love this fight. Okay.
When's the fight?
Saturday.
Okay, so the 21st, is that right? I mean, you're as bad dates as
21st.
Maybe it's the 22nd. Let me see. Let me. So today's Wednesday. So Saturday would be the 23rd. Okay. So the 23rd of Saturday, is this ESPN Plus? Yes. in Hinckley, Minnesota. So watch out for the judges. Watch out for the judges.
No doubt about that.
So the audience actually understands why I'm saying that. Talk about the Minnesota judges and why are they so
Oh my
important?
God, you got to knock the opponent out from Minnesota just to get a draw.
These motherfuckers.
They just slice you up, man.
And they aren't even, it doesn't even matter if the person you're fighting isn't Norwegian. They just hang on to that Minnesota thing.
If you're from Minnesota, you're their boy.
These are the type of people that walk in like, let's say March, wearing full Minnesota Vikings shirts, pants, hats. You're like, football season isn't for many, many months. They don't care up there. They got nothing better to do.
They're just stuck in an ice bowl.
Yeah, they're going to stand there -8 degrees and be like, remember when Randy Moss ran? Yeah, I do actually. It was badass. Adrian Peterson. That team's had a lot of really good players for such a just a free frozen tundra of a part of the world.
Adrian's getting ready to fight somebody, I heard.
I saw that. How do you think he's going to do?
He's a strong. I'll tell you what.
Did you ever hit the pads with him? Did you?
Yeah, he hit the pads with me, and he's just. You can tell how strong he is by like his whole body, from the way he punches. You know, he doesn't necessarily punch proper and snap at the end.
Yeah.
But the force and the power of his just straight through punches are he's a strong dude. I hope the guy ain't sleeping on him.
Yeah, but it's weird if you don't know how to punch, though. It's sort of like knowing how to throw. It's just something you either know how to do or you don't know how to do. You can't really learn it later in life. I mean, I shouldn't say that because you can, but it takes a tremendous amount of practice, and you have to understand what you're fixing. You know, it's like a golf swing, but it's in the sense that you have to work on your hips and everything else.
Yeah, I don't think it's that complicated, but it's definitely. I've tried to teach people, and I've never been able to do it.
Yeah, you either have it or you don't. You either get it or you don't. It just comes naturally or it doesn't. And who's I've always said the guy you trained was Leonidas. I always call him Leonidas because
Ionitis, yeah.
I call him Leonidas. He could step into the ring, and he's a tough motherfucker, but that guy throws punches properly. Like he actually,
no doubt about it. I think if you said who was the best boxer on the Washington Commanders, Redskins, Ionitis. I wouldn't want to face Ionitis.
No. When I saw that, I was like, okay, your worst nightmare is a guy who's bigger and stronger than you, but then you're like, you know what, I could probably still hit harder than him. And then you see him, you're like, oh shit, he's got all the Yeah, never mind.
This is where I should have sent you that so you could play it.
Yeah, we can do it next time. We can do callbacks on the show all the time.
Yeah, that's good.
For example, remember the Redskins, that there was that fight between the Alabama defensive tackles, Jonathan Allen and
I don't remember that.
On the sideline.
Oh yeah. I called Allen after that, and I was like, if you took more boxing, you wouldn't have got showed up.
So talk about what happened there, because these are both guys you train.
Yeah, I think the guy put his I forget who the other guy was. Who was it?
Are you serious? They were both Alabama guys, the two Alabama DTs.
So he put his finger in Jonathan Allen's face and like pushed it. And anybody who ever does that is gonna, you're gonna deal with them. So Allen and him got into little fisticuffs and they broke it up.
Let me pull this up for for the audience to see, because this one should be easy to find and track down. Sideline fight. Jonathan Allen, the fucking Redskins. Redskins. What were they called? Washington football team. Oh, what a queer name that is. Team. Okay. And let's see here. Okay. Allen and Darren Payne. There we go.
Oh, Duran, that's right. That's right. Duran can punch too, but he's real awkward.
Well, he didn't seem to mind. He was ready to throw down. And
Oh yeah, no, he was ready to go. I'm just talking when
Down in the second quarter, Washington football team defensive tackle Jonathan Allen threw a punch at a teammate on the sideline and had to be separated. Afterwards, Allen tried to dismiss the scuffle, saying, quote, "I don't think it takes a rocket scientist. If you look at how that game went, emotions are high, things happen." But Shannon, have you ever seen anything like this?
Yep.
well,
Allen tried to
we'll show the
football
punch.
team defensive tackle Jonathan Allen threw a punch at a teammate on the sideline.
100% proper for Allen to actually throw that punch.
I agree.
Yeah, you can't shove your finger into the temple of another man and not expect a fist to hit you. And by the way, he did miss, but he did look good missing. I mean,
That's what I said. That's what I wrote. I said you wouldn't have missed if you stayed closer to me.
what did he write back?
I don't know, haha. But
Yeah.
Deron Payne's, he's awkward as shit. He has a lot of power, but he comes from all angles.
That would be kind of a interesting thing to put together as an ex-football player fight league, little fight club.
Yeah.
So okay, I have a game for you. Let's do a game real quick. Do you want to do a game show with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me see. I don't have a. Let's just make up a.
And by the way, when you're
Okay.
Give a fuck about all you fucking liberal trash out there.
The
All
Jimmy
you
Lang
fucking
game.
different watching this motherfucker after I knocked your Lord and Savior, worthless small dick Lang out.
All right. So the game is what isn't racist? Okay. What isn't racist? Okay. This is like Family Feud. You've seen Family Feud, right?
I'm up to speed. Let's rock and roll.
All right. Name something not racist. Name something not racist. Anything. I'm pulling up Google. You can't go to your computer. We can see you, but I'm pulling up Google.
Fuck. The Easter Bunny.
Easter Bunny. Okay. Easter Bunny racist. All right. Let's see. Easter Bunny is racist. Here we go. The very
Really?
first. Yes, it is. The Easter Bunny is racist. Are these Easter Bunny chocolates racist? Vice. Reverse racism is about as real as the Easter Bunny. That's putting Easter Bunny and racism in the same sentence. Ugly Easter Bunny chocolate duckling is racist. Slightly racist Easter Bunny. Yes, Easter Bunny racist has 6.19 million results. The Easter Bunny is racist. So let's go round two. Keep in mind you have 5 guesses to find one thing that is not racist.
All right. Ready?
Yeah, go for it.
The Delaware Memorial Bridge.
Okay, that might not be racist. That's a good one. Delaware Memorial. Holy shit, you actually nailed it. There is
what you just said.
okay. Son of a bitch. There we go. I had to turn that off. There is nothing about the Delaware Memorial. Can you hear me,
I hear you, baby.
Jimmy?
I hear you.
Jimmy, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So there's nothing about the Delaware. I was so shocked I'd fucked up everything. There's nothing about the Delaware Memorial Bridge to do with racism. That is crazy. You
I
found.
don't fuck around on these game shows, man.
So you won. It's pretty difficult to find anything that isn't racist. I've Googled thousands of things and found that pretty much most things are racist. According
Timberland boots.
Let's try that. Timberland roots.
Boots. Timberland boots.
Ooh, racist. Timberland. I used to wear those.
Everybody did.
Yeah, those were my pride and joy. Racist. Whatever happened to that company? You know, they had this weird thing with Nordstrom where they could take back your boots in like a year. Probably fucked them.
Yeah.
Timberland CEO says, "I'd rather not see blacks in my boots." Yeah.
Well, way to go, fucking CEO.
Timberland boot. No, Timberland's logo doesn't celebrate the lynching tree, so Timberland boots was called racist. Timberland's Ku Klux Klan tree logo, Maya Angelou's poem. So, yeah, Timberland's founder was a Russian immigrant, not a slave owner. Holy shit! So there was a whole firestorm on Timberland boots being racist that you and I didn't even know about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's a fun game to play at home. You know, anything that somebody says, you know, you can just pull it. Is it racist? And you're gonna find
What's that? A computer? What's that? An app?
No, it's just Google. Just put it.
Oh,
It is an app, but yeah, it's
so
gonna.
it's not racist. It's not racist if it just says no results.
Correct. If you can't find anything where there's a controversy about it. In this day and age, I mean, everything you found climate is racist. I mean, everything, fucking everything. It's ridiculous what's going on. So let's move on to other crazy shit. So Biden actually announced an emergency action on climate change today.
I'm pretty worried about that. What's going on there?
Well, in the clown world that we
now let me clarify. I'm worried. I'm worried because they're painting a pretty grim future for the planet if we don't do this right away.
Yeah, they've been saying that for a while. To put this up in front of the gas crisis and all the other shit that's going on. Well, this has to be put up there. None of that has anything to do with anything but bad government. You know, so
inflation,
bad government, again, bad government, bad monetary policy. You know, all of these things are man-made, created, except for climate change. So all the things that have been created by man are deemed something that you have to give man more control over. And all the things that weren't created like man, like climate change, you have to give man more control over. Funny the way that works, but it's the clown world we live in, baby. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess you just have to give everybody full control and hope that they don't do something bad, right? Because nobody in history has ever. I mean, we
deserve to have that kind of trust.
I mean, you would have to have the most altruistic person in the world, the Dalai Lama. Actually, the Dalai Lama got in a lot of trouble for sexist comments. Did you see that?
Is the Dalai Lama racist?
Ooh, yes, I guarantee. And sexist. That's going to come up. Dalai Lama. Jesus, I've been reading Lama to my kids so often. I'm ready to like spell it like like Lama. Dalai Lama racist. Let's see. Is the Dalai Lama racist? Is the Dalai Lama racist? Let's see. No, the Dalai Lama is not racist. Dalai Lama Europe belongs to Europeans. Oh, Dalai Lama is racist. So the Dalai Lama said Europe's belong to the Europeans. Therefore, here you go. Dear Dalai Lama, your views are misogynistic, regressive, racist, and unacceptable. Yes, the Dalai Lama is very racist. So here you go. You should be able to see this, lest you think that I'm making this up.
Wow.
This
is informative.
Well, the Dalai Lama did say some pretty, let's say, some pretty things about women. Somebody asked him if a woman Dalai Lama was going to take over. And he said something like, well, she better be pretty because, you know, I don't want to fuck up the quote, but Dalai Lama did, you know, Dalai Lama said some things. Let me see. Dalai Lama, misogynistic. That's the word, right? That's you know, they really need to come up with a better word because that word doesn't cut. It doesn't, if you cause them, if you get called a misogynist, it doesn't like hurt you to your soul. And quite frankly, even racist has sort of lost its luster. They got to come up with something, and
They've used it too much.
they use it too much. If everything's racist, then nothing's racist. And they're at that point right now. Okay. Dalai Lama apologizes for sexist remarks. Okay, let's see. Meant no offense. She must be more attractive. There was a series of comments that he made, but let me see if he often makes off the cuff remarks. People, I think, prefer not to see her that face, is what he said. A lot of women would say that's objectifying women. It's about who you are on the inside. Dalai Lama replied, "Yes, I think both." Well, he's right. People want to see pretty on the outside and inside. Who do you think, and is it the greatest marketing ever to replace good-looking women that are skinny and in shape with fat, ugly people that are, well, they might have pretty faces, right?
Why? Why is that?
To deteriorate society, remove morale. I guess a big part of,
So that's not really marketing. You're not trying to sell a product, right?
Well, if that's the word of the day. So it goes back to woke. So how did woke come in? Yeah, I mean, so it started, in my opinion, in you had the Occupy Wall Street movement that was very organic, where people were traveling and sitting out in front of Wall Street places and setting up camps and protesting against big business that were doing things in an unethical way. Okay. And this started to spread. It started to become a big deal in DC.
What time period? What year was this?
Well, a guy I grew up with that I knew very, very well was the king of Occupy Wall Street. Watch this. This is going to be something I don't think I've shown you, but it's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. And keep in mind that I know this guy really, really well. We used to send him in to steal like vitamins for us from the vitamin shop, but he hung out all the time. So the leader of Occupy Wall Street is a Ron Paul, and it should pull right up, but this is, let me see. I'm going to send this to you privately, and I'm going to highly, what's the guy's name? Louder with Crowder. Okay. Crowder. Louder with Crowder. Because this is old, and I couldn't believe it didn't become a bigger hit. But either way, the companies are getting hammered right now by the people. So what happened? The company said, you know what, we need to shut this off. So what did they decide to do? They decided to finance these causes and create rat holes and move them to leaders that were the people that they probably put in power to run these rat holes, these institutions that would champion these causes. And all of a sudden the rat holes, became places to diversify and break apart the common hate of big corporations into a bunch of causes, from all the acronyms to bathrooms to children, in schools to whatever. It's a new one every day. But the companies, if you notice, like Nike was putting hundreds of millions into BLM and other, and in the meantime, it wasn't even going to BLM. They weren't even doing an audit for where it was going. It was going to buy the leaders of BLM houses, and it was going, the Democratic National Convention owned the actual financing company for it. So it wasn't going to help Black people at all. It was symbolic money going back to the DNC and being siphoned off to the leaders. But what it did is it shut people the fuck up. It kept people from organizing. It kept people from planting at their of planting their flags in front of their buildings, and it broke apart Occupy Wall Street. So next thing you know, there's no more organic movement. It's now 50 different movements and none of them make any sense. That's not an accident. You know what I mean? That's big
Wow.
corporations manipulating very stupid people that think they're doing something right. And that's the easiest way to manipulate people, is through emotion. So when you have a bunch of emotional people that are just jumping on emotional causes, all you have to do is create emotion, finance the solution that isn't really a solution, and build make people feel good about being on a soapbox, even if that soapbox is, for example, pro-choice versus the abortion is a great one. Gotta say, at the end of the day, I mean, one side of it, you can say this is for women's rights. The other side of it's a big pile of black baby bodies. I mean, so, and mothers that regret doing it. So, and yet there's a great moral high ground to this giant, massive pile of colored baby bodies.
I can't get my head around it. It's like they look down on somebody that disagrees with that. And I can't see how they could legitimately think that.
Well, again, I understand. I mean, I understand the feeling that that a mother who's not ready goes through, the fear, maybe she's not with a father. I understand a lot of that. I think most regular people do. That it's not, it's not quite there. The ingredients aren't quite baked. The recipe isn't quite done. You're just putting together the recipe, and you just don't want to make the the pie or the cake or whatever it is. I understand the argument for it. What I don't understand, and what most people like me don't understand, and most people in the world, I think it's 84 or 87%, when it comes late in the pregnancy, then it gets really fucking dark. And that's what's being lobbied for. And strangely enough, the media is not telling people that that's what's being lobbied for. They aren't even
That's odd.
They aren't even laying it out, saying, hey, the goal isn't to have something reasonable. So if you go to Europe, almost every country in Europe is 12 weeks. Some of them are up to 14, but pretty much Europe is 12 to 14 weeks across the board. And yet our people are over in Europe bitching that the United States isn't free, and specifically the state of Florida is some horrible place where you have no freedom over the women's body, when it's 15 weeks in Florida. So we're beyond pretty much every place in Europe, and they're over in Europe telling Europeans that Florida and the United States is out of their minds for having laws that are actually more lenient than what they have. So at some point you're like, why is there so much bullshit? But I know why there's so much bullshit. Why do you think there's so much bullshit?
They keep it so much, but they keep you afraid. They keep you in fear.
Well, they keep people. They know that people don't have the time, energy, and effort to figure out what is what.
And they don't come back with facts. They come back with fear tactics.
Fear is a great controller, and confusion is a great controller. If you can keep people off balance and never knowing what's real, then they won't be able to stick to any core fundamental thing that gives them strength. And that's why there's also an anti-religious thing. And by the way, I'm not an organized religious guy. I'm more of a God guy, like true connection direct to God. But there's a big attack on organized religion, including from our own Pope, which is bizarre. This guy is a fucking weirdo, and I wouldn't trust him for 5 minutes with my child. Did you see it? You saw him smack that person in the face, right?
No, what do you do that for?
You didn't see the Pope smack the person in the face?
Nah.
Oh shit, this is great.
It's disgraceful, man.
Pope slapped a woman in the face. Slaps woman. Here you go. This is a while ago. I'm surprised you didn't know this. She grabbed his hand and didn't want to let go, and he was not having it. The Pope's like, bitch, how fuck you? The Pope went straight out of a rap video. She went straight gangster on her. He's like, oh, bitch, I'll fucking show you what's There you go. Pope, everybody's saying he's very docile, very docile. Hi, little baby. Hi, baby. this woman grabs him and wants what like yanks him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, here you go, Jimmy. Here you go." Oh shit! He just smacked her on the hand. Damn it! I thought he smacked her across the face.
Oh yeah,
Just gave her a little smack on the hand.
that's not as
Man, I thought he smacked her across the face for something. Did they deep fake that? No, it was always on the hand. It was always on the hand. But yeah, he was mad at her. She was Asian woman too, which makes it extra fucked up. You can't just smack women like that. But he is involved.
What are the popes? What are the Pope? Has the Pope made any statements on all this Roe versus Wade stuff?
Nothing earth shattering. He has, but nothing. He's made so many statements that are contradictory of fundamental Catholic beliefs. He's very much into climate change. He's full Marxist in a lot of ways. He's been pushing immigration into Europe. Hey, you have to take everybody. There are no borders. Well, why do you have that fucking 35-foot wall out front of the Vatican? They have you ever seen even videos there, the riches in the Vatican?
No.
I mean, so much art, so many books, and they hide these books like the books are just going to blow their cover. They don't digitally put them online so that people can read what's in them.
Really?
Because, well, dude, everything your audio is a little worse. But everything in the Bible that they teach you is, the standard things like pray to St. Thomas, pray to St. Michael.
Right.
None of that's in the Bible. Like everything that has been taught before, they've put filters and layers on top of to control people. So the Catholic Church is not, maybe necessarily the best arbiter of truth when it comes to, the historical aspect of it. Let's put it this way. They have no reason to lie other than the trillions of dollars that they pull in and all the real estate they have. Other than that, not a single reason I can think of that they would ever
It's a giant crime family.
Yeah, if people were to read, the truth and how you can actually get to those riches, and I mean, it's in the Bible. They actually, teach you different aspects of it. But they hide all that. They actually, if you go to church, they don't tell you what's in the Bible. They tell you a filtered version of what's in the Bible. You want your kids to know, just have them read the Bible directly and then, discuss it with somebody who understands. So Joe Biden announced today he has cancer.
Oh, shit. Well, I don't wish that on him. What kind of cancer?
Oh, please. It's a dude. This has been part of the plan. I don't give a fuck.
This is going to kill him?
Well, they had to get rid of him somehow, right?
I'm saying, is the cancer going to kill him?
Well, it's better than doing the old Kennedy thing to him, right? After Kennedy, they sort of overplayed their cards with taking out Kennedy. So listen to this. Check this.
That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer, and why I can't for the longest time.
Did you hear that?
Off the window.
No, it didn't sound like you said that to me.
I grew up have cancer.
Okay, let me replay this for you because the audio is not coming through strong. But let's see if you can see it. Make it large. Let me make the volume high, and then listen tight.
Off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
That's why so many other people I grew up with have cancer.
It sounded like you said, that's why I and so many people that grew up having cancer.
I and so many other people I grew up with have cancer. So this is his first public appearance in 4 days. He had nothing on his schedule. This was day 5. They brought him out and he just announced in a incoherent, feeble way that he has cancer. So I think that point that we had when we did our Nancy Pelosi speech, the very end where I said, if something happens to Joe and you impeach Kamala, and she told me, well, have you been reading my emails? Perhaps there's something to that.
Do you think it's time?
Well, they have to get rid of him before sometime. And the best way to do it, you can't get rid of somebody like that without an emotional story that makes people feel bad for how you you
Right.
can't just get rid of him where they hate him. You have to get rid of him in a proper manner where you feel sorry for him. And where and it can't be dementia because the news has lied to you and said that they don't have dementia, that he doesn't have dementia. So what they have to do is create a new disease, not dementia related, so that you don't get mad at the news and so that you can feel sorry for him and not hold him liable for all the damage that he's done. In the meantime, that was his job, right?
This sounds to me like a conspiracy theory.
Of course. I mean, that's the beauty. I'm just saying, if you were to be able to draw this up, you're not going to say, well, I've got dementia and, all those, because he's actually had a couple strokes. So he had a brain, they actually peeled off part of his head to relieve the pressure. Like, he's had a serious fucking issue and nobody talks about it. Like, they don't even bring it up. They're like, he has a speech impediment. I'm like, you mean from the strokes? Yes, he does. From the dementia and the strokes, yes, he does. Prior to that, did he have it? No, he did not. But that's the beautiful clown world that we're in right now. Now, okay, so I brought this up. This is a callback. You and I talk about calling things back on the show every now and then. So I had to remember, I told you the first time that we started talking about woke stuff, right?
I don't know.
Pronouns. Okay. So are you ready? I went and re-listened.
Zapier automates our entire client.
So I went and re-listened to this. So this is the original socialist convention that my friends and I died laughing to because we couldn't believe what we're hearing. And I found it. And you know who redid it? South Park redid it. Of course they did, right? So South Park redid the original socialist convention that we were laughing our asses at. The only part that's weird now is that it's actually now real. Like, at the time, nobody had ever seen it before.
Right.
But now it's normal. So you're not going to have the same reaction we had when we saw it the first time. So what South Park did is they actually took the original audio and put cartoons over top of it. So what you're getting ready to see is the original audio, but South Park drawn. Hold on. Let me turn that down and share screen and open and play. All right. Great. All right.
Please keep the chatter to a minimum.
Okay, here we go.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, please keep the chatter to a minimum. I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum?
This is
affecting
real.
my ability to focus. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against name, chapter, pronouns?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
And additionally, with the noise issue, like, avoid hissing, avoid waving banners, right? Because there's all sorts of things. If you don't know what to do, show up these, right? I'm sure there's lots of ways that we can communicate to each other without needing to rely on something that's going to hurt somebody else.
Quick point of privilege once again. Hi, James Jackson, Sacramento DSA, he, him. I have already asked people to be mindful of the chatter of their comrades who are sensitive to sensory overload. And that goes double for the heckling and the hissing. It is also triggering to my anxiety. Like, the be comradely isn't just for, like, let's keep things civil or whatever. It's so that people aren't going to get triggered and so that it doesn't affect their performance as a delegate, okay?
We have quiet rooms that are available. There's a range of options of these, right? Please don't go into that space with anything that's like an aggressive scent, for instance, right? Because we don't want people in stressful situations that they don't consent to, right? There are right-wing infiltrators who are trying to get in here, but it's going to be really traumatic for people if we're not making an affirmative effort to de-escalate each other and de-escalate ourselves, right? Take a deep breath. And feel better before you say anything.
I do feel better.
When you're busy dealing with groceries, you can miss a few things. See, you miss that.
that's a real thing, Jimmy. That is a
Unbelievable.
real thing.
I got
and it goes on for
distracted by
hours.
this.
I
I
watched
got
the
this.
whole fucking thing. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I laughed my ass off. And now it's here. It's here and it's everywhere.
That's
Everywhere.
That gives me a sick feeling, man.
Wait. Yeah, hold on a second. Let me get your audio back. Let me hold on one second. Let me get rid of this. Get rid of this commercial and boom and boom. Okay. Go ahead, talk.
It gives me like a sick feeling, man.
It's
just
odd,
eerie.
right? It is.
odd.
But you know what was great in there is the hint to how to beat this all. Hissing, waving banners, strong smells. We can take them down by going long thing, triggering them with very, very loud noises, like maybe singing God Bless America, Star Spangled Banner. You know, I mean, just watching them all fall apart. And the word comrade too, you know.
He said, please do not speak with genders.
Yeah, gendered language. Don't speak
Gendered
language. Gendered language. And it's got, so since that clown show happened, now Webster has changed their definition of a woman as of yesterday. And the United States military has published an entire new parameter for showering with women who are going through transitions or men who are going through transitions. In the meantime, in California, there is a man, whatever, who knocked up a bunch of broads in prison as a transitioning female, went into female prison, transitioned.
How did that happen?
Big hard penis going to town. I don't know.
What was he doing? What was that person doing with a big hard penis?
I don't think he'd gotten to the point of actually. He had made the decision, but hadn't decided to remove the weapon for which he was given that he does not want. And
I got you.
Look what happened. The weapon ended up really costing him. He's going to have to pay. Actually, that's the best way to do it. He's got no child support. These kids are in prison. He's gonna just knock up as many women as he wants. He's not even going to be sued. These kids are going straight to DCF. That's not a good situation for the kids, but for a transitioning male to be able to go in and make that magic happen, you know, maybe that's our hero of the week next week.
Yeah, dig on that guy, because that's pretty interesting. Guy, gal, whatever. I don't know. What is that? A he, her?
Well, so you and I were talking the other week. You actually asked, would you want to know, you know, the day that you're going to die? Let me ask you, you're going to spend 20 years in prison. Do you spend 20 years in a male prison? Or do you just say, hey, I feel like a female, and then spend 20 years with women? But keep in mind, you're going to be surrounded by tons of women for 20 years straight. So yes, you're going to get, you know, your share of pussy, but you're also not going to be able to, like, you know, talk to guys, play spades.
Yeah.
20 years.
I wouldn't want to go with women.
Yeah, I'd stay in male prison too. I would. I'd stay in male prison for you know what, or I'd try to find a loophole. I'd wait like a year. Be like, God damn it, I need to get out of here. Say I'm a woman, and then go into the woman's prison for like 6 months, and then just be like, I got to get out of here. I'm transitioning back, and just do that.
Now.
My name's Timmy. My name's Tim.
What's stopping them from doing that? It's all madness. I can't even understand it. It's all madness.
Dude, it's not madness. Gender fluidity is the tits, or not the tits, depending on whether or not you're fluid or not fluid. It's everything you want it to be or everything you don't want it to be. You can have the big dick and swinging dick and balls 1 second and nothing but a behind the next second. There's nothing better. So when people ask me what I am, I'm fluid. You know, every now and then I get emotional. I feel emotions and I say, you know, I'm, you know, now maybe Erica instead
Do
of
you
Eric.
tell us like some of the things that you do that maybe might make you think that you want to go into a transition?
Oh, for me? No, I'm not good for transitions because I'm a little gruff with certain things. Like I'm actually trying to work on being, you know, a little bit more sensitive.
Well,
You know,
that's what I'm saying. What are your womanly tendencies? I want to hear what they are. I mean, well, I
Okay.
guess
okay,
if we can define a woman, I don't know. Can we define a woman?
I can answer that. I do get emotional and cry over positive things sometimes. Like every now
Me
and then,
too. Fuck.
every now and
I
then,
hate it.
positivity. I'm like, you know, and sometimes it just overtakes me. I cry for a few like so the kid, our hero of the week last week, wrote something on our YouTube channel, and he said, "Thank you so much. This cancer is just killing me. You know, it's been so rough." The child Everett Baker,
Yeah.
who our hero of the week last week, I fucking poured tears for like 15 seconds.
That's beautiful.
I blubbered like a child just reading his message to this show, and I couldn't stop. So, you know, I consider, you know, I'm perfectly fine with being in touch with emotions, and I think it's great. If you're not in touch with emotions, you're not living life. You got to enjoy the goods, the bads, the ups, the downs. That's the problem with being a guy is you're told there's a balance there, but you're told you have to be this way. It's not that way anymore. Now you're told you need a therapist and you need to let out your feelings and you need to be tolerant of all these things. I don't want to be tolerant of things. I want to be tolerant of what I like. You know what I mean?
Have you ever seen a therapist?
Yeah, I told you my parents dumped me at a therapist when I was going through a lot of stuff as a kid. It was right after the divorce. They brought me in because
I see. Yeah, and he gave you a tip
down.
off of what all the shit you would be. You fit the stereotype.
No, I found that out as an adult. So as a kid, they dropped me off. The chart I saw as an adult looked back and said, "What a douche."
Yeah.
Kid, they dropped me off and said, it was some guy who sat there. "Hey, Eric, how are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, fuck you." I didn't say anything. He goes, "Oh, do you want to tell me anything?" I didn't say a word. He's like, would you like to ask me any questions? I didn't say a word. He goes, "Okay, well, we'll just sit here in silence then." And I sat there in silence for an hour. And then he said, "Okay, hopefully I'll see you again." I said, "Fuck off." And I walked out the door. That was it. Because I was furious that they would take me to a psychologist. Like I was.
What is a psychologist supposed to do?
At that point, so again, you know, I went to school afterwards to be a psychologist. I actually went to be a child psychologist. A child who walks in, you know, I was a bright kid that was in a troubled place. You know, you're supposed to build some rapport. He tried poorly, but you're supposed to actually it's almost the best example of this in a movie is when Robin Williams was talking with Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting. He was dealing with a child. Matt Damon was an adult, but Matt Damon was a stubborn, obstinate, brilliant guy, and Robin Williams had to figure out how to bond with a brilliant guy. But it's the exact same thing you'll find with a stubborn, obstinate kid.
Yeah,
and Robin. There's an art to it, and it's not going to happen immediately, especially when the child's aware enough to understand that they're being taken in to talk to a doctor who they don't trust. You know, you have to build that trust.
I think there's two different mentalities. I think there's your mentality where you're abrasive and you don't need in your head, you know, you don't need a shrink and you're pissed that you're there.
Yeah.
The one that scares me is the mentality that I'm a victim and I need help, because that happens. And you know, you just live a life of a guy that needs a therapist.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that are now proudly waving the fact that they have a therapist, you know?
You know, I mean, sometimes a therapist, all he can say is, you know what, you're fucked up. Deal with it. You had some shitty shit happen.
They'll never say that. Their job is to ask you a couple questions and sit and listen and make you think. And it's something that if you're aware enough, you can do on your own. That was one of my biggest issues with why I didn't want to become a therapist, is sometimes, the real trick is, hey, you're going to have to find the positive in every bad situation. Here's how you do it. Be thankful that this horrible thing that you're pissed off about happened. Yes, your mother died. Yes.
Oh, that's a Pete Buttigieg trick.
Yeah. Is it?
Yes. These gas prices are good because it will force
No,
the
I'm not.
public to buy.
I'm not talking about lying. I'm not talking about being honest.
It just sounded so familiar.
No, Pete Buttigieg is just lying. He's lamenting that people are buying more 65,000. There was a great exchange with him the other day with a guy who's very pro solar, and the guy's breaking. He goes, "Do you understand?" He goes, "You get 2 cars. The average American family has 2 cars. How many times more electricity are those 2 cars charging at home than, say, the average refrigerator?" Buttigieg goes, I don't know. It's 12,000 times. So you're talking about that. Now you're talking about replacing all cars with electric vehicles by 2030. That's 8 years. Can our grid handle it? If you were to add, say, this many houses with this many refrigerators?
That's a lot of refrigerators.
He's like, no, it's not capable of handling it, but that's why we're moving forward in this infrastructure bill with money. He's like, yeah, but you can't do it. Like, the infrastructure is not there. You can't do it. Then why are you moving in a direction that isn't possible to do? He goes, I'm a huge fan of solar. I'm a huge fan of this. But why are you heading us into a direction that's just not capable of being? And Buttigieg goes,
what does, this might be a stupid question, but what does Elon Musk say about it?
Elon Musk doesn't really talk about the grid so much. He's worried on other. I don't think he's ever even been asked about the grid because he's probably not privy to their plan. He's kind of on the outside looking in some ways on the government's electronic vehicle plan, although he's benefiting to some degree. It seems he's at odds with the administration in a lot of ways, and he may be capitulating for the sake of Tesla and the company in terms of the letting go of the Twitter deal and some of the other things he's doing. It might just be squeezing his nuts just a little bit in order to get him in line. We'll see. I mean, Elon's sort of, he was a socialist coming out of South Africa. So there was a big theory on my part that he wasn't real and that, he was government funded. So he was actually funded by QTEL out of Fairfax, Virginia. QTEL is the CIA's, one of his best friends is basically running the CIA's VC. So I've always thought that Elon was a little bit suspect. It's pretty easy. In China, they do it all the time. They put up a cool billionaire. Well, how do you make a cool billionaire? You just have a guy who's worth billions doing cool shit, and sometimes he's going to be contrarian and sometimes he's going to play the bad guy. Sometimes he's going to play the good guy.
That sounds like Richard Branson.
It also sounds, not really. I mean, it sounds like Trump.
Yeah. I don't know. All I hear about Richard Branson is doing some new shit. Every 5 minutes, he's a billionaire.
Every billionaire in China is government made. And in the United States, it's not every billionaire that's government made, but it's a lot more than the general public understands. So I was reading about Nixon. Did you ever follow the Nixon stuff?
Never got into Nixon.
I'll send you an article that'll, kind of bring you into it. You listen to G. Gordon Liddy?
Yeah.
So G. Gordon Liddy was part of that. He went to jail for years.
Is he still alive?
No, he's passed away. But he used to always say Watergate took out Nixon. For people that don't know the story, Watergate was the reason Nixon was removed. Nixon was the incumbent president, Jesus Christ, and had a huge lead. And they said that he broke into the DNC in order to gather all this information, which didn't make sense to anybody because he was an overwhelming favorite.
They were winning, yeah.
And G. Gordon Liddy was part of that. G. Gordon Liddy ended up going to jail. Well, G. Gordon Liddy would say, hey, it was not to get information on the DNC. I broke in to get hooker information because Howard Dean wanted a bunch of hooker information to prove that his wife was a hooker. And so Howard Dean was the one that sent Liddy in on this mission. Howard Dean ended up being a Democrat, and Liddy ends up, going to jail for this. And he would say, look, it was all hookers, had nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Apparently Nixon knew nothing about it for 6 months and then tried to cover it up because it looked bad. And then the cover up became worse than the crime.
Yep.
But the entire thing, Woodward and Bernstein, who quote broke the story, about Woodward and Bernstein.
I know about them. Yeah.
Yeah, they were actually working with the CIA to protect the actual bad shit that was happening. So it turns out the DNC was running a hooker ring through the hotel. So the real story is the DNC was running a hooker ring through the hotel. The Washington Post works for the DNC. Woodward and Bernstein worked through the CIA. The CIA was involved in it. And rather than take down the CIA, they decided to protect the Democratic Party and the CIA and take Nixon out and blame him for something for which he had nothing to do with, because Nixon decided to try to cover it up. And that was enough for his guilt. Reminds you a lot of Russiagate.
Is this all open to the public?
Yeah, this is all open. This is 50-year anniversary. Yeah. So this is so Woodward and Bernstein are full of shit. The Washington Post's biggest story they've ever done, complete bullshit. Nixon, who hated Bohemian Grove, called it the faggiest thing he's ever seen, was not one of their guys. And after killing Kennedy, hypothetically, which you and I know probably didn't happen, but did, then they decided they couldn't take him out that way. They took him out a brand new way, which is the exact same way they tried to take out Trump using some different nuance. G. Gordon Liddy wrote the most accurate book about it and passed away. But my favorite part, for people who didn't listen to G. Gordon Liddy, he had a great line because he was a felon after this whole situation, breaking into Watergate looking for hookers, which is fucking hilarious, by the way. That's not what they teach you in the, in history. They aren't.
Yeah, I didn't learn that in school.
No, they don't feel like this is a hooker operation. That's what it was. And Liddy wasn't lying at all when he said that. But I want to actually pull this proper thing up. So he said Liddy was talking about the topic turned to guns. So, and he goes, the interview asked him about his guns, and Liddy said, well, I cannot own guns because I'm an ex-felon. But Mrs. Libby has quite an impressive collection.
I like that.
Yeah. He was a national treasure for his own thing. And one of the
he was a hard ass, man.
I was a hard man. He's the one who and I maybe for all the kids out there that didn't get the benefit. He said, if somebody's ever breaking into your house and you have to shoot them, make sure you pull the body inside the house, because if it's outside the house, your chances of going to jail are way higher. It's inside, you're good. And I was like, I'm like 7 years old going, that's really good advice.
Yeah.
Like, thank you, G. Gordon Liddy.
Meanwhile, dumbasses like me are saying, why would I ever kill anybody?
Yeah, of course. No, me, I'm like, that's really good advice. But no, thank God it's never had to happen. Real quick, let's talk about Theo's fight. Because Theo got robbed. I went to the fight. I had second row seats. I had great fucking seats, like right next to the cage. He was the second fight of the night, and I sat right next to his opponent and his family, and then his opponent's friends were behind me.
Right.
And round one, Theo knocked his opponent down 2 times. So his opponent's a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt, very tall, rangy, very high level grappler, very strong. He actually looked, usually Theo goes in looking bigger than everybody. This guy actually looked bigger. So he's able to slim down and go back and get big and very strong. And round one, Theo knocked him down with overhead rights twice. So usually Theo just takes people to the ground and mashes them, or takes them against the fence and mash them. He didn't do that. I think he respected that Gracie black belt. in jujitsu, as Theo, I think, is purple. So round two, he knocks him down once. Pretty uneventful round. The knockdown was the biggest thing. I think the other guy took him down. Most of the time, Theo had him smashed against the fence. Round one was almost a 10-8 round. Theo wasn't quite. A couple more shots might have been a 10-8. Round two, Theo won the round. Round three, Theo loses round three. The other guy was desperate, fighting desperately, knew he had lost round one and two, came out, throwing a lot of punches. Wasn't a 10-8. It was just, clearly the other guy won round three. Judges come out. First judge, gives the other guy 2 rounds to 1. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. The crowd boos. The people next to me goes, whoa, that's surprising. They're like, what the fuck? Second judge gives Theo all 3 rounds. And I'm like, how do you give him round 3? Round 1 and 2 I get, but all 3 rounds, you can't be smoking that much crack. Third judge, 2 rounds to 1 for the other guy. So they gave the belt and the fight to the other guy. And it happens, right? The people behind me are like, whoa, he just got a gift. I thought he lost the fight. The people to the right of me, his family, oh, I thought he lost that fight. They're high-fiving, going, I can't believe he won that fight. The crowd is booing throughout, pissed off. So, Theo and I talked afterwards, and I said, look, round 1 was clearly your round. All you had to do was win one more round at that point definitively. The only advice I can give you, because you fought a great fight, you won the fight against a very good fighter. You did. The crowd knew it. I knew it. The only advice I can give you is a little bit more activity against the cage. So he had him against the cage, and the other guy's throwing these mini punches against the cage with no power, but he's just staying active. And you could see a judge just going, I'm going to score that. So if you have somebody against the cage, just even if it doesn't hurt them, it's nice to throw punches that hurt, but even if it doesn't hurt, landing activity can win you around. And the other thing is the last 10 seconds. Make sure in the last 10 seconds, show some aggression, a leg kick, a couple shot, just especially in the first and second round, especially round two in an MMA fight, because that person wants to go back to their corner and it's not desperation time yet. So the last 10 seconds in a 3-round fight, the last 10 seconds in round 2, you can Sugar Ray Leonard it a lot easier because everybody's tired at that point in a real fight. They want to go back to their corner, go put the pressure on there and late, especially if you feel you're winning round 2, stamp it. And then round 3, do what you do. He won round 3 because he was desperate, but it happens. But there's an art to winning rounds that you win by staying active, and an art to stealing rounds that you might not win by staying active and putting that 10-second pressure on, that are the difference between, you don't change anything else. You've already done everything you're going to do. It's just optics. It's just pure visual optics.
Let me ask you this, switching over to the mentality of it, the mental aspect. Is he crushed? Is he, first of all, is he pissed? Does he call it a robbery?
No, he never said any I did to do it. He knows, but I think he
knows.
He asked me what he could do better. And from a high-end technical,
that's a great outlook.
Yeah.
The same thing happened to me on my third fight. Is a 4-round fight. I won 3 out of 4, pretty much no question. Hometown guy, they gave it to him. And the fight, that was pro. I look at amateur fights, like for my son, this is free experience. This means nothing. You throw this in the bucket with the experience and just roll past it.
Yeah, especially at the amateur level, this is a great way to make sure you don't get fucked in the future. That's
absolutely
got it.
Absolutely.
You figure out, hey, I stamped round 1. How do I make sure I stamp the rounds that are close? Stamp those, and you're going to win a lot of fights, even some of the ones where you're robbing somebody else. And
right now, it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's probably never going to be a bad thing.
probably a
But
good thing. I would say
it could be a good thing. It could.
I think it's a better thing because at this point, if he had just won that fight, he wouldn't have asked me what he could have done better. He wouldn't think what he could do better. It's not about asking me. He wouldn't ask himself what I could do better.
Right. That's it.
It would be, hey, everything went perfect. I'm on the roll. And the other thing I told him too, because he has a nasty, I actually never really stood up in fights that I'd seen. He's got a nasty overhand right. Like he brings some heat on the punch, throws it with violent intentions. I said, you need some more tricks to get that punch off, because later in the fight, the other guy, he knew it was coming. You know, he'd been hit with it 3 times pretty fucking hard.
Tall guys, you throw that on tall guys all the time.
Yeah.
I had success with that. That overhand right is just, it's a really great tool if you maneuver. And it's another thing that it's like a regular punch. You either can throw it or you can't. It's really hard to teach.
He was throwing it as a lead most of the night, so he needs, which again, if it's working, don't change it. But later in the fight, it was missing more. Early in the fight, it was landing every time. Later in the fight, you could tell he was timing it and seeing it coming. At that point, you need another trick to get it off.
The angle of the bodies, it has to be a lead shot, because the way you do is you sweep across. A conventional fighter sweeps to his left and almost drags the shot over. You want to counter. You want it to be a counter on a jab. So it's like, even while you slip to the inside and drag the shot over the outside. I don't know if that makes sense, but
it does. Well, Garcia early in the fight that we just watched was throwing a ton of lead rights. I actually thought he was throwing so many lead rights it was disrespectful. And then he got popped. He actually got hit pretty good, and the lead rights stopped. Like I'm not saying they stopped fully, but you could see he was lead right. He got popped pretty good, like a pretty good hit, the hardest shot on the other side. And then the lead right stopped almost immediately. He's like, okay, you
can use a lead right to hot dog and show somebody up. Definitely.
Yeah, it's disrespectful. Like if you keep doing it over and over again, it's showing that you think you're so much faster than that person, that your further away punch can get there faster than their shorter punch. Like I'm that much better than you, which Garcia was doing pretty consistently. I mean, the guy's fast as fuck. So moving forward, by the way, next week, let's start doing a football preview where we break out one conference a week. We'll figure out what conference to start with.
Let's do it.
You and I will let's end on the NFC East because that's our baby,
Right.
We'll probably start out west on something we don't know, like Seattle or something like that.
And we got to reach back and I got to show you those Ionitis films.
Yeah, send those to me and try to convince that dude to get in the ring. I'd love to see him fuck people up. I'd like to put some money on him because
one thing you never know though, does he have this?
Well, he's tough enough to get in there and jam his face into everybody, but yeah, he looks like he has heart, but yeah, you never know if he gets clipped.
A little different. It's a little different.
It is a little different, but right now, from what I've seen, I think somebody who throws punches like that, they've been in a couple street ones. When you're Ionitis, you grew up, your family grew up throwing fists. So send this to him and tell him my money's on him next time he gets in the ring. I just want that. Tell him to fight Jake Paul.
No shit. No shit.
All right, man. God bless you. Have a great night. We're going to talk about Zach Wilson next time too.
I got a new pinky ring. That's my new sign off.
Oh, your new pick. Why is the pinky ring? Why'd you get it?
The fucking pinky ring. My son gave it to me.
Why'd your son give you a pinky ring?
Because it's badass.
Yeah, but why is it badass?
Because we're in the mafia.
That's what I thought. So send my best to your dog that was involved in the James Dean murder.
That was great, by the way.
Your father for his driving ability and taking out an icon, hypothetically. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it, man. It was fun putting together. Nobody else is going to get that at all, but who gives a fuck? All right. God bless you, man. Have a good night.
All right, brother.
All right, bye.